So I'd like to open our conversation with a very short question. It might be silly, but I wanted to include it um, and hear your opinion about that. So the question is the following. Why do touch and tactile technology deserve their own history? What is so special about those?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a silly question at all. I think it's a really great question, and I think the answer to the question depends on where you're coming at the subject from, right? So, for me, as a media historian, as a media theorist, I'm interested in the way that people working on haptics, people working on touch technologies, have tried to transform the sense of touch through technology, right? And they're very explicit in their aims. We want to make touch like seeing and hearing through the design of media technologies specific to touch, right? That is a goal, in the engineering literature, in a lot of the industry work. That's a very explicitly stated goal. So for me, it's really productive to show people in my field what's been happening in haptics, which is an area that they largely haven't looked at. So that's my angle on it. If you're in the field of haptics, I think it's really helpful to gain a sense of where the field came from, and
Correct.
to maybe not do quite as much wheel reinvention as people in haptics seem to do. A lot of times I'll read a study, from 2015, and a similar study was done in 2002, right?
Yeah, that's that's important thing. To not reinvent the wheel. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then finally, like I think that this history is just, I don't want to say like it's inherently compelling, but I do think that getting a window onto the way that people have thought about touch, going all the way back to the 1700s, is really illuminating, just to see how people have grappled with this very elusive and very slippery sense, right? Like it's proven to be a really hard sense to pin down, to study, to understand. And I think the same stories get told. If we look back at the end of the 1800s, the early researchers on touch are telling the same stories as people are telling today. No one's paying attention to this; it's neglected.
Yes.
How do we approach it?
Actually, I realized that we didn't move that far from 19th century, actually, even though I think we are already in the fifth phase, according to your history timeline, right? We actually maybe somehow in certain aspects still maybe in the third or maybe even in the second stage, in the certain aspects of fundamentals of understanding the tactile sense.